This is. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time once again. I'm Insane Leader 13. I'm being joined by XRL Torpedo here in the booth.
Yep.
It is time for X3, as today we are going to be running in Australia at Albert Park. Torpedo is glad to be here with you today. Once again, how are you doing?
I am feeling good, and I'm again, there's hopefully to be an exciting race in the X3.
So real quickly, we're going to go ahead and look at all the drivers who are currently representing. In the Williams team, it's Mufasa 1869 and XXX Books XXX. In the Haas team, it's Unarmed Drake 822 and Tasani 10. In the Alfa Romeo camp, it's Ray Hall 941 and Boothie 116. In the Tracing Point team, it's XRL Tome and XRL Dino. In the AlphaTauri Honda team, it's XRL Gusty and Collie Boy. The Renault team is being represented by XRL Whippy and Davey Wart 23. In the McLaren team is XRL Jono and Retro Rixie. In the Aston Martin Red Bull team, it is XRL Smish and XRL Turbo. In the Scuderia Ferrari team, it's Mr. Anderson and XRL Azda. And in the Mercedes team, it is Fritz and Fratters, that dual F team that we've seen so many times before, showing up in the Mercedes camp. Full field, 20 cars today. We could be looking at a very, very good race. There's also threat of rain during either qualifying or the race today. There's a lot of stuff we could be looking forward to say the least.
And I think lap 1 in turn 1 will be quite interesting because the corner is so tight, so we could be seeing a lot of incidents there.
It has a lot of hallmarks comparable to the first few corners at Catalunya. The difference there, though, is at Catalunya you have a little bit more, runoff that you can jump onto if something goes wrong. Not really an option here unless you want to run the risk of damaging the car. Don't worry about that whistle in the back. That's just my tea kettle going off.
Oh, okay.
I am American, I swear. I'm not. Just because I'm drinking tea does not mean I'm British. I am American.
Right. We're readying up. Let's go. Oh, right, okay. Alright, let's go.
Alright, real quickly, as we begin to load up onto the circuit, we'll go ahead and take a look at the point standings. Torpedo, real quickly, as we look at the point standings, I just want to ask your opinion.
Yep.
We're now about a third of the way into the season. When it comes to the Manufacturers' Championship, what do you think is the team to look to the most to take home the Manufacturers' Championship?
Well, I think it'll be like a two-way. It could be a two-way fight, probably between like McLaren and Renault. Renault have got some catching up to do, but I think with Whippy in the contention for a drivers' championship this season, I think they could make a fight to McLaren. Yeah.
Alright, now here's the real question. It's kind of a meme question, but AlphaTauri, they're down with only 9 points compared to McLaren, who's leading the Constructors' Championship with 113. Does AlphaTauri have any chance of catching up?
Probably not, but they could probably close the gap to maybe like Williams or Mercedes. So hopefully they could try not to become last in the Constructors.
Well, we'll see. In the Constructors' Championship standings right now, AlphaTauri has 9 points, Williams has 29, Mercedes has 32, Red Bull has 34, which is tied with the Tracing Point team. The fifth on the standings is 41 points with Alfa Romeo. Scuderia Ferrari has 71, Haas has 81, Renault has 92, and McLaren has 113. And oh my gosh, my TV's volume is loud.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, We're getting word that the race itself should be under dry conditions, as the race itself should be as well. So quali and race will both be dry. Real quickly, as we look to the driver standings, it's still a four-way breakaway when it comes to the championship fight, with Whippy leading with 75 points after that win last week. Then you have Azza, who is second with 70 points. XRL Yono has 63 points. And Retro Rixie has 50 points. Then once you drop out of the top four, it's a massive drop back. 23 points back to Ray Hall, who is fifth with 27 points. Then you have Schold with 25. Books with 24. Fritz with 19, Snake with 17 points, Boothy with 14 points, Turbo with 13, Tasani with 11. Then the drivers who only have earned single-digit points thus far. Gusty has 6, Collie Boy has 3, Constant Jet and Herbie both only have 1 point. Fratters, Smish, Unarmed Drake, and have all not yet earned points in the season.
First one that's out on the track with Mr. Anderson is as the leading car on the track at the moment on this outlap.
Popping open the DRS in that lane as he's trying to get the tires warmed up for a nice flyer. Mr. Anderson was setting himself up for a reasonably good race yesterday in the Realistic Racing League event here at Albert Park. However, things just kind of went a little bit topsy-turvy once he got to the latter stages of the race. A lot of good points slipped away from him in that.
Well, here he goes on his flying lap.
Right now, about half of the field is currently in the middle of an outlap. We're beginning their first flying lap right now. Dave Ewart has also begun his first flying lap, as has the Mercedes of... I'm sorry, not Mercedes, the... Never mind, don't listen to me. I got somebody swapped up, don't listen to me.
Alright. With Mr.
Championship points...
Yeah. There you go ahead.
I was just going to say, Championship points leader is now coming out onto the track right now. He's coming out behind Boothy as they're running down into turns 1 and 2 right now. Ray Hall has already been on a lap for a little bit, though. He's going through Sector 2 at the moment. Very strange part here at Sector 2 where he's going through. It's almost a constant turn to the right, but it feels blind throughout the entire first half of it. We saw in qualifying yesterday in the Realistic Racing League event, you can have an instant there, and if you come up with enough speed, you won't be able to avoid piling into it. It makes it for a very, very difficult and dangerous part of the circuit, to say the least.
Indeed, and Mr. Anderson, 1 minute 22.181 is the fastest time so far, because he's the only one to set a lap time. Next one is Dave Ewart in the Renault, 1 minute 22.545, and the Ferrari of Asda, 1 minute 20.987. So pretty much a whole 1.1 seconds clear over of his teammates' lap. With Mr. Anderson and the Ferrari, could they hunt down McLaren and Renault in the constructors? There's quite a lot of drivers in Sector 3 at the moment. They're bunched up together.
Turbo's gonna be leading that small little group across the start-finish line. He sets a time of 124.540, so a massive spread thus far between first and fifth in times.
Right, Whippy's on the lap right now. He's in the first sector, obviously. So we'll see what he can produce. Currently, our points leader at the moment.
Fasta and Yono are still in the pit lane, as is Tone, Gusty, Books, and Retro Rixie. None of them have made an attempt to come out onto the circuit as of yet, and it looks like there's a Ferrari that has pulled over and is sideways there. That is Azda, so our current fastest driver has had an instant there in Sector 3. It looks like he'll be able to get the car spun the right way. Hopefully, he's having trouble getting the thing pointed in the proper direction and going again.
Whippy was just past him as well. He's in his flying lap, so we'll see if that affected him in any way. Here comes the championship leader, leading by 5 points. See what he will do today. Crossing the line, 1 minute 21.268. Goes second, but not as quick as Asda's time that he put in. Maybe, he might have made a few mistakes in that lap.
Real quickly, I'm just going to go silent on my end and ride on board for this upcoming lap with Collie Boys. He's going to try and be the 8th driver to set a lap time, 9th driver to set a lap time here at Albert Park. And Smish abandons the lap at the very end after he went ahead and tapped the wall in Sector 3. Collie Boys tapped the wall in Sector 3. Smish had an incident in Sector 3, and he has been forced to retire from the session from the damage sustained in the incident. Asda went ahead and retired from the session early as well. He feels that with the fastest time thus far, there's no way he's going to get knocked out of Q2. And Dino has had a little bit of an incident trying to begin his out lap in Sector 1, so a lot of different things going on the circuit right now. This is Dino's teammate Tome, who is currently on a flying lap. He's just going through Sector 3 right now. 48.911 at the end of Sector 2. Very careful, almost into the grass, and he's actually invalidated the lap. That's not what you want to see here. Very hard for drivers to get a nice clean lap. We're already almost halfway through the session. Only 10 drivers have set a lap time thus far. Gussie is still in the pit lane, as is Collie Boy, who made an attempt and then retired. Yono is in the middle of an out lap. Yono is currently 3rd in the point standings right now. And his teammate Retro Rixie is also on an out lap. He is 4th in the standings, so it's a 4-car breakaway when it comes to the championship fight. But again, there's questions if Yono will be able to run the entire season, and if he is not, then it will likely open up. It will enable Whippy, Asda, and Retro to open up a gap, and it will be a 3-way driver fight for the title.
Yeah, and Retro Rixie is coming around the final corner to start his flying lap. I move faster to set a lap, 1 minute 22.227, puts him 6th, and Rahal has just gone 3rd, 1 minute 21.6, and Retro spun.
Retro has wrecked going into turn 2 on his flying lap. He just put a little bit too much steer in the car. The rear end came right around on him, and he backed it right into the outside wall. I don't see any tremendous damage on the car. It looks like all the winglets and stuff are on it. However, that car was not fueled very heavily, so he will have to abort this run totally and have to try and set up another run. I'm also a little bit worried as to how much damage and wear may be on those tires from sliding backwards at what probably was about 70 miles an hour.
Yep. Books has gone 3rd, 1 minute 21.396. So decent lap from from him. He has looked quick on this track. Obviously, he participated in the Development League race yesterday, and he was showing his pace there, and he looked pretty quick. So that is transparent right now.
Dino has just gone fourth fastest with a 121.741, so there's definitely ability within the Tracing Point machines right now, though Tome is still in pit lane. Gusty is out on track, trying to make another attempt at a flying lap here.
So we'll be seeing 4 cars getting eliminated, because we definitely know that Smish is going to be out. Jono in the final sector of his flying lap. Again, Whippy's out on another lap. Maybe he felt that the previous one was not the best.
It's a very interesting decision for basically anyone in the top 5 to try and go for another lap, because with the spreads right now is massive. We're looking at roughly a 4.5 second spread between the first fastest and 15th fastest driver right now. I don't think anyone in the top 5 has any risk of getting knocked out of the session, so at least if it was me, I'd stay in the pit lane, conserve tires, conserve fuel, and don't run the risk of damaging your equipment.
Yep, Jono went up to third, 1 minute 21.731. Whippy's just retired, and Hollyboy's about to set his lap, 1 minute 22.582, puts him 12th at the moment. So we've still got Tome, who's on an out lap, Retro X3 who's in the pits, and Gusty, who's on a lap that's invalidated, so he'll have to go again.
So right now, Fratters is the driver on the bubble with a 24.005, and Turbo is on the outside looking in. So it looks like at the moment you need to be at least turning a 22 if you want any measure of safety going into Q2. Tome now is coming across the line to begin his flying lap. His teammate Dino currently has the 5th fastest time. Also, we missed it, but Jono went ahead and set a 121.731. That's the 4th fastest time thus far. He's just improved it. Now Jono goes up to 2nd, 121.253.
Decent lap from Jono there, not far. Whippy. It's fractional margins between Jono and Whippy's lap.
Retro X is in the middle of an out lap right now, and we've seen time and time again Retro will sometimes hold back. We saw this throughout last season in X3. Retro will hold back instead of flying lap late in the session. We might be trying to do that right now, and we could be looking at the top 4 in the points in the top 4 spots at the end of Q1. Right now, top 3 in the points are all in the top 3 spots. Retro is the wild card. I'm still watching Tome as he's going through the last 3 corners on the circuit right now. Relatively clean. He may have a decent lap on him right now. Indeed, he goes up to 121.590, so the Tracing Point cars looking very strong, having the highest average of all the teams right now, with Dino being 7th and Tome being 6th. Gusty goes up to 5th, 121.533. Retro is the only driver yet to set a lap time. Boothie is the driver on the bubble with a 122.583, and if I was in Collie Boy's position, I'd be very concerned because he's only 2 thousandths of a second better than Boothie right now. Drake's gone ahead and improved his lap, but not by a significant amount. He's still in the 123s.
Retro's just started his lap as well, but could we be seeing a good performance from Gusty in the race? We'll never know. That lap, it could be something for AlphaTauri to be probably happy about heading into this one. Oh, Retro's invalidated.
Yes. Ooh, and that's not looking good because there's not a whole lot of fuel in his tank, and there's only 2 minutes and 44 seconds left in the session. at this point, what he needs to do is he needs to fly as fast as he can to jump into the pit lane, get another load of fuel, and get out there. If Retro was to get eliminated out in Q1, it would be massive. Fratters is on a flying lap right now, trying to improve. Fratters needs to improve, though, by roughly a second and a half if he wants to make it. And he's invalidated. Fratters has invalidated his lap. Unarmed Drake is also on a flying lap right now. Well, no, he's not. He's actually on a cooldown lap. Never mind. Collie Boy is on an out lap because he sees that the time is clicking down, and he's the next most likely driver to get eliminated if Retro sets a good lap.
He's going like Retro's staying out and going at it. He saved up ERS on the lap where he validated it. So he'll have a decent amount of ERS just to get this lap in. Oh, bearing in mind if he doesn't invalidate. And he's
Retro, it will have enough time to finish this lap and then start one more if somehow he has enough fuel for that. The only driver to have yet set a lap time when the Mercedes pulls over ahead.
Fritz has got a 5-place grid penalty for collision with Faster. That's a bit of an odd one. Fritz is currently 13th.
Fritz had an instant there in turn 1 coming out of the pit lane. I have to wonder if Mufasa may have cut across into Fritz, or Fritz came out onto the track too fast and led to that collision.
Oh, Retro's gone again. He's invalidated again.
Time is running out quickly, and I don't know if he's going to have fuel to make it happen. Retro might very well end up completing the session without setting a single lap time. Yes, he's pulling over. I don't think there's any chance. Retro is not going to be able to set a lap time. He may have eliminated himself.
Yeah, I think usually with the pit lane it's quite tight. It's tight, and I think it's really, you've got to really be self-aware when you come out of the pit lane for an out lap. And I think Retro's going again. So he's braving it. Only this one he cannot invalidate. This is the one he has to do.
Collie Boy in 15th has just invalidated, so he's not going to be able to improve right now. Unarmed Drake is in the middle of a lap that is not valid as well, so he's not going to. And Fratters has just gotten across the line in time. He is in the middle of a faster lap. He might be able to make it happen.
Unarmed Drake is invalidated as well.
Turbo's in the middle of a flying lap right now, and Retro is in the middle of a lap. He's purple in Sector 1. So Fratters, Turbo, and Retro are the 3 drivers we need to watch. Unarmed Drake has just had an accident!
That's Turbo, I think, slowed down a bit. I think he lost it. It's a weird area of the track just to win it, because it's just before the corner. So I think he might have got something wrong. Retro, it's all good for now. It's just this final sector to go to get this lap in.
He's keeping it together for now. It's Retro, Fratters, and Turbo are the 3 drivers on laps that might bring them into the next section, with Retro being the next one to cross the line, saving the best for laps, potentially. At the line, in the McLaren, it's going to be a time of 1:22.032. It's good enough to get him in. Fratters improves only up to 17th, though. Turbo retires. And Dave Ewart, he's on the bubble. He invalidated his lap, but he's on the bubble into the session, as Collie Boy and Unarmed Drake have instances that take them out of the session, as the Smish and Fratters and Turbo are not able to improve enough to advance into Q2. That was a little bit tongue-biting for Retro.
Yeah, and I think he went through 2 sets. I think it was 2 sets. I don't know if he in qualifying, so he might have one last set heading into the next 2 sessions. But he needs to pull out a good lap in Q2 if he wants to get through. Because if it was in Q2, he would not be through in P12.
And then Fritz has a 5-second grid penalty that he will be serving, so although he's 14th and officially makes it in, he will have to start as good as he possibly can. Collie Boy, Fratters, Unarmed Drake, Turbo, and Smish are the drivers who will not make it in. Also, I didn't notice it, But while we were focusing on the back of the field, Tome went out there instead of 121.149. So Tome went ahead and now has the second fastest time. But Ozda has the best overall with a 120.9. It's the fastest time we saw in the entirety of Q1, relatively early in the session at that.
Yeah, he did. He just did one lap, and that was it. That was him for the session. So we'll see what his pace. We'll see what his pace is like in Q2 and Q3. We'll see if he can get the pole. But the start of the session, we were seeing like mainly 1 minute 22s, and then as there comes 1 minute 20, and then we started getting faster lap times. But Q2 should be interesting, and I think Trixie needs to get a big performance out of that McLaren.
Alright, so here we are, Q2. This is the big, fun one where everyone decides what they want when it comes to tire setup. To start the race off, you can have a really good qualifying run, but if you go on a set of tires that you're not properly strategized for, you can actually handicap or kneecap, I guess, your entire race in the process. Ozda looks like he's going to try and be the first driver out onto the circuit in his Ferrari.
On the softs as well, so it's quite a risky move, really, like going on the softs like this early.
It would also mean that if he set it on the softs, that would be it. He would have to start on the softs. But Ozda may have a good idea, a good strategy here. If he goes ahead, sets another really fast lap early on the softs, he won't have to worry about conserving tires whatsoever in the race.
Yeah,
that assumes that nothing goes wrong.
Also, yeah, it also depends on like safety cars, incidents, safety cars, everything. If he doesn't take him out or probably has him loses the back end, crashes into the wall. We don't like. There's these situations that you got to take into account, like with your race strategy as well. So I think Ozda's going for a bold one, but we'll see if it pays off.
Currently about not quite half of everybody is out onto the circuit in the middle of an out lap. Dave Ewart and Whippy are both on the circuit right now, pretty close together, and I have to wonder if maybe the two Renaults will try and give each other a little bit of a tow on the front stretch if they can make it work. Albert Park is a very, like I said earlier, it's a very Mickey Mousey kind of circuit, a lot of bends, not very many long straights, but the front stretch and then that little run between turns 1 and 2 are just long enough that you could potentially give a nice little draft to the driver behind. But it might be more effort than it's worth. We don't know how the Renault team or any team will consider right now.
Also, we'll be like, these times that we're seeing, those times will be like slower to what the track will be for next season in like X3, because with the track changes we might be seeing.
We're also going to see the next generation of Formula 1 cars, the 2021 regs represented in the next F1 game. And part of those regs saw a massive reduction in the amount of floor that you had on the cars, also a change in a few other small areas, so the cars are significantly slower in real life. And I imagine we'll see the same thing in this.
Ozda almost lost the back end. He's aborted that lap. I think it was out of turn 15 and 16. He just lost the back end on the exit, and he's aborted the lap. So I think Ozda's just not gonna set a banker one here.
Gusty has had wing damage there in instant there at the end of Sector 1, start of Sector 2. He is still underway, but that's going to put a little shunt to his chances of setting a time early on in the session.
Yep, as is 1 minute 41.9. It's the only time in the session so far. But he's going to go again, just to try and make it quicker. Probably a bit better. still, I think most people have either invalidated their laps in the first attempt. I think Rahal was invalidated. Rahal invalidated.
Here's Whippy, your championship points leader. He's coming around to set his first final lap.
As invalidated it, so not looking good for him so far.
And Whippy goes ahead and sets a time of 1:22.131 on the medium tire compounds right now.
We've
seen a bunch of drivers cross the line, but only 2 people have set lap times, and Whippy is the only person who have set a serious lap time, and we're already nearly 5 minutes through the session. This is definitely very weird, and speaks a lot to the bizarro layout of the circuit and how difficult it is to just stay clean around here.
Rahal invalidated his lap again, and he's going into the pits. Jono's on a lap on the softs, and he's keeping it relatively clean so far. First is on a lap, Fritz is on a lap. Well, Fritz is on an out lap. Mr. Anderson invalidated his lap. And the rest of Davey Wharton, I think, invalidated his first attempt. But I think the 2 McLaren boys are coming through the final few quarters now. John is going to be the first one. Crossing the line, 1:21.536. Retro XC is going to cross the line. It's not as quick, it's 1:21.752, so Retro XC has found a bit of pace now, so he's starting to get into a rhythm.
So now the situations have changed from where it was in Q1. In Q1, we were worried about Retro putting the lap time down. Now we're worried about Ozda. Dave Ewart is finally going to set a lap time in the other Renault. He set lap times of 1:22.486. Time is running out very quickly in the session, and we still only have 6 drivers who have set lap times, and one of them is not even a very competitive lap time, and that is a Haas. I believe that's Tassani. No, it's not Tassani. That is... Who is that that's pulled over?
Yeah, I think it was Tassani just letting Boofy, and I think it was Dave Ewart as well by. Dino goes 6th, 1:22.482. Tome got 3rd, 1:22.045. So we're seeing more drivers getting lap times in. Fritz is on the lap right now in just out of sector 1, 26.922. He's on the softs right now. Currently got Tisani, Gusty, Asda, and Boofy on
the
an
top,
outlap.
1:21.080. So Jono is starting to open up the gap at the front of the field time-wise.
Yep. Mufasa, Ray Hall, and Mr. Anderson are in the pits right now that have yet to set a lap time.
Ozda, Gusty, and Tassani are all on out laps right now. We'll anticipate seeing them putting a lap time, or an Ozda takes competitive lap time relatively shortly here. That was Tome, who had briefly pulled off circuit there and stomped in the grass in Sector 2. He is properly back underway now. Tome currently has the 3rd fastest time, 1:22.045, and now his teammate Dino has spun around.
Oh.
Dino has gone around and has backed into the wall there at that little bend in the DRS straight. No serious damage to the car as far as I can tell, though.
Fritz got 3rd, 1:21.867 on the soft, so Fritz will probably be good about that. Obviously, he has a 5-place grid penalty, but I think he would. So it's a good start. Well, it's a good qualifying lap in Q2. Now it's just around the final corner onto the main straight, and he'll be starting his flying lap, hoping to not make any mistakes or invalidate.
Boothie has invalidated another lap, so despite being one of the first few drivers out in the circuit, Boothie has had no luck staying clean. And I'm just going to say this right now, we're 6.5 minutes into the session. Softs are overwhelmingly the dominant tire choice. We've only seen 4 drivers who either have set a lap time on mediums or are planning to set a lap time on mediums right now. Yono goes ahead and retires from the session. He feels no need to put the machinery under risk.
As this 1/10 down in the first sector, but he kept that clean on his first lap. It's just the 2nd and 3rd sector that he mucked up on. See, there is still time for him to get that back.
Gusty is the car right ahead of Ozda right now. Ooh, Gusty makes a bit of a mistake. Ozda comes whooshing by.
Almost going into the back of a Mazda, so very lucky for him. So far, so good. He's on a fresh set of softs, so I think he's burnt. I don't think he might have any fresh softs left. We'll have to wait and see. So, Q3, but coming across the line. What is this lap time going to be? 1 minute 21.116 only, and puts him second. Oh, 115, my correction.
So now Whippy is the driver in the top 4 points who is not with his other teammates. He's down in 8th right now with a 122.131. Meanwhile, Oz's teammate, Mr. Anderson, is currently on the run through Sector 2, entering Sector 3, and has just invalidated his lap as I focused on him. Mufasa
is on a lap right now. Boofy's invalidated another lap. Mr. Anderson, you just said he invalidated. Bray Hall's on a lap now, so it's basically crunch time for these drivers. And I think with Boofy on the mediums, he's making a big risk, along with Mr. Anderson. And Mr. Anderson's going to the pit, so he just has to come in, fit the softs, and get a lap in.
Something else I'm noticing, Mr. Anderson and Boothie are currently the only 2 drivers on medium tires. I think this is going to be very plainly a soft tire compound blowout in the top 10. I don't imagine Mr. Anderson or Boothie will be able to set a quick enough time that will get them in the top 10s and hold them there, because Gusty still needs to improve. Gusty is 5 seconds down off of Dave Ewart's time right now, so Dave Ewart is currently the driver on the bubble with a 122.486.
Currently, the people have set up, Dino, Whippy, and Tone have got lap time set on the mediums. Oh, Gusty goes 4th, 1 minute 21.640, so the AlphaTauri is showing a bit of pace around this track today.
Alright, and that means that Dave Ewart's now been knocked out of the top 10, and Dino is the driver on the bubble, and Whippy is now 9th, so he might be threatened and get knocked out as well.
Mufasa goes 7th, 1 minute 21.990. And then Bray Hall goes 3rd, 1 minute 21.195. So that puts Books in the bubble. Whippy is down in 11th. Dino down. And Dino is just going to start a flying lap. Alistair's retired from the session.
Gusty has had an incident, though. Right after he set his lap, Gusty went around at the end of Sector 1. I don't see too much damage on the car, so he should be able to make it back around. But that's something I've been noticing a lot, both in the realistic race yesterday and today throughout qualifying. Drivers will set this monster lap, and it's almost like it uses them all up, and they just kind of collapse in the following few corners afterwards. So as long as they collapse to an extent that doesn't destroy their car. Mufasa has had an accident. Mufasa has had an accident on the circuit.
He's just lost the back end. His car's just like spun round in the way. Dino's gonna have to move out of the way slightly for his lap. And he is. All cotton on the grass. Still kept it clean right now.
Whippy is on an outlap, as is Dave Ewart, Mr. Anderson, and Boothie right now. Dave Ewart has now just begun his flying lap. Whippy is on the outside looking in, your points leader. His teammate is also on the outside looking in. Dino is in the middle of a flyer right now. He's up by almost 3/4 of a second. If he can hold it together for these last 2 corners, he will probably knock himself back into Q3. Oh, where did the time go? I just realized we only have like 2 minutes left.
Dino goes quickest one at 20.958, so that came out of nowhere for Dino there. Wow.
Brooks is now the driver who has been knocked out of the session. He is 122.087, and right now, Mufasa still has the 10th fastest time, so we're looking at maybe only having 9 drivers going into Q3 right now.
Yeah, Tom's going 11th, as Brooks goes 6th, 1 minute 21.622. Fritz is on the bubble. Yeah.
Unless someone could knock out Mufasa.
There's no one coming, I think. Oh, David, what's gone?
So even if, like, Mr. Anderson or Boothie set a time faster than Mufasa's time, they still wouldn't make it in?
Yeah.
Ah,
Very holes. Very holes retired from the
right.
session. Gusty and Tisani have also retired. Whippy's gone a second up in the second sector as he's heading through the final sector right now. Fritz is on an outlap, as is Tome. Heading in the final few seconds. Fritz has just started. Also, I think Tome as well. The Ferrari and Mr. Anderson.
Time's going to be very close for all these cars right now. I think Whippy's going to make it to the line in time. I'm not so sure about Mr. Anderson, though.
Whippy, quickest, 1:20.535.
Mr. Anderson improves up to 13th, but he's still on the outside looking in.
Tome is just started his lap. Fritz is on the bubble of elimination. Tisani will be after if Tome can go quicker. Goofy's yet to set a lap time and he's stuck.
Davey Warren's up a little bit at the end of Sector 2, but at the end of the lap, will he improve? Davey Wharton improves, but only to 11th.
Tome was half a second up in the first sector. So we'll see.
Oh my god, a massive accident back there! Fritz has just had a massive blowover. The car went off circuit, bounced off the wall, the air got under the car, lifted it into the air,
upside down.
and he drops on the track right in front of Boothby.
He was upside down when Tome goes past. What?
A huge blowover accident. He's still upside down on the track. A massive accident for Fritz.
And I think that might have affected. Well, Boothby goes 6th, 1:21.203. Fritz will be out. Tom go cross the line, 1:20.877, gets him second. Now Gussie's on the bubble. If Mr. Anderson can pull a lap together, I don't think so. It's going to be a quick one. No, it's not. He's over the benchmark, so he's not the best lap from him. So a crazy end to Q2.
And that's 2 weeks in a row we've seen massive airborne accidents from AlphaTauri drivers, but a massive incident from Fritz there, and he will not advance in the next session. Real quickly, in the party with us, we have Fritz. Fritz, go ahead and include your audio. I hope you're okay, but what the heck happened there that blew the car over like that?
I took the chicane corner a bit too quickly and lost it in the gravel and then was upside down, basically.
That was a massive accident, probably one of the worst we've seen all day. Now the next question is, with that and being knocked out of Q3, do you think you can get the car working and get a strategy working that can get you better results in the race?
In all honesty, I've not practiced for about 3 weeks, so my strategy, I don't really have one. So I'm just going to try and drive as quickly as I can.
All right, well, thank you very much for sharing with you. I just want to say, once again, there's a massive shunt. We're glad to see that you're still in it, though, and still good to go.
All good. Cheers, guys.
Yep.
So 10 drivers make it into the next round, and notably, despite some real iffy moments from Ozda, Whippy, and Retro, all 4 of our championship contenders have made it into Q3 once again. So it's getting very interesting in that regards. None of them seem to really be losing each other in qualifying, at least. It looks like Rahal will be the first driver to come out onto the racing circuit. And behind him, that is Ozza leading a small train of cars. That's the AlphaTauri of Gussie behind him. And then the McLaren of, I believe that is Retro. Yeah, that's Retro following behind. There's Whippy coming out now as he's going through the first few corners. And he has Boothie behind him. Then behind Boothie is the tracing point of Dino. Tome is now on his way coming out onto the circuit as we speak. Ozda's pulled completely to a stop there because he wants to get a lot more clean track than this, as Dino brings it right into the dirt. Everyone just trying to get the jitters out real quickly here, because this is a very short section. Not section, short session for the pole.
Yeah, indeed. And also with an Alpha, we got an Alpha Towering, we got Alpha Towering Q3, so that hopefully Gusty can get a good position and maybe do well in the race, get some points for the team that are well needed. Books is now out, so it's just leaving Jono in the pits at the moment.
Dino has spun the car around there in Sector 3 on the DRS straight. He's not the only one. Something has happened, I believe, to one of the... That's Ozza. Ozza has pulled over again to get more free track around him. So a little bit of a concern moment there, to say the least. Boothie is coming around, though, to start his flying lap. Boothie made it in by the skin of his teeth in Q2. Very nearly drove under a flipping car. And now is his chance to show what he has and try and go for the pole.
Here comes Ray Hall now. He'll be the first flying lap of Q3. 1 minute 20.603, really good lap from Ray Hall there. He comes across the line 1 minute 21.388.
Oh, and Boothie goes around, and Boothie destroyed his car. Boothie was on a flying lap, put the power down, coming out of the second to last corner, and went right into the outside wall, destroyed the front suspension. His day is over, in qualifying at least. It's over.
Gusty goes 4th, 1 minute 21.509. Dino goes 5th, 1 minute 21.590. Whippy got 2nd, 1 minute 20.761. So, Ruthie will most likely be P10 in qualifying, well, at the end for the race.
Books is in the middle of a flying lap right now. Ozda invalidated his flying lap. Boothie just has 2 more corners to navigate now.
Tom moves 4th, 1 minute 21.437. Books comes across the line. He goes 3rd, 1 minute 20.985.
Ozda will ideally be the next driver to set a flying lap. He has a 26.608 at the end of Sector 1 right now. And interestingly of note, I've seen no movement from Jono's pit, suggesting that he's on the way to come out into the circuit right now. Very interesting on his part.
Yeah, very weird strat there. As they're now coming in the final sector now. Kept it clean. At the moment, no flags in the pit lane. That is Dino. He's run out of fuel. And he's on like doing a lap without fuel for some reason. As they're now coming through the final corner, it looks looking good of a lap time. 1 minute 20.628 or 627, puts him 2nd. So it's like a battle for pole between Ray Hall and Asda at the moment. Whippy and Books are also in it.
Jono still has not made any movement to come out of the pits yet, so 8 drivers have set a lap time, and there's still about 6 minutes and some change left in the session.
Yeah, and I think he might be doing a late run, maybe. Oh, Asda's gone quicker in the first sector. I don't know if he's on an in lap or he's going again, but he's going on the 10th up at the moment. He's gone 8.
He's still up. by about 8/10. I don't think he's going to improve, though, because he's very nearly out of ERS right now.
Yeah, I don't.
Might be wrong.
Oh, he's going to complete it. Might be a bit close. Let's see. Crossing the line, 1:20.360.
Nope, to the top! He pulled out a great amount of time there in Sector 3.
That is provisional pole for the time being, and Jono, no movement. Yeah, I think we should be seeing movement though. We should be seeing it pretty soon.
Whippy is still in pits. Retro is still in pits. So right now, none of the other championship contenders have anything to directly answer against Ozda at the moment. Gusty and Rahal are both on outlaps right now, though, as Gusty is going through Sector 3.
Like, Rahal's like 5th in the championship, like 27 points. Could this be like a moment for him to like try and get more points in the championship? And like,
if he wanted to start mustering a challenge for the title, he would need to start doing it now. He is 23 out from 4th alone, and he basically would need to triple his current points total in order to be directly competitive against the points leaders. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I'm just saying if he wants to start making himself a serious championship threat, he needs to do it today. He can't wait another week.
yeah. Also, we got a single pole next week, and it's a tight track as well. So it's going to be a tough one.
Singapore circuit where Whippy got his first victory at last year, holding off a horde of championship contenders then. One of the more iconic events in X3, because it was his first win in X3. Now it's turning around where he has more wins under his belt and is leading the points. So, they grow up so fast.
Yeah, time flies by.
Speaking of time flying by, Gusty is down by 2,000th of a second at the end of Sector 2, so Gusty, it looks like he's already aborting the lap.
John is out on his outlap, and Rahal's gone quicker in the first sector, but I don't think it's like it's not a huge amount to get the provisional pole off Asda.
He is about a quarter of a second up at the end of Sector 2. That would be enough to put him back ahead of Ozda by just the smallest amounts if he can hold on to that advantage through Sector 3 here. He locked up there.
That's not going to be good. He's backed off, I think. Yeah, he's backed off. That lockup, I think that lockup cost him dearly though, so... Let's see,
he's going for another lap now, though.
Az just retired from the session. I don't think it's an ideal strat from Asda there. I think
there may not be enough tires left in the pit box. Remember, he went through a lot more sets of softs than anyone else, so he might not have enough tires to go ahead and stick with his strategy in the race and go for a faster time.
Yeah. Indeed, Rahal almost lost it there. It cost him a bit of time.
He's up, but he's only up by 1800ths.
The off-leg sector 1, that's a racing point of Tom going slowly. He's on an outlap.
Jono is on his flying lap as well.
He's in sector 1. Retrix is on the outlap. He's coming through the final corner. Needs a big final sector, Rahal.
Rahal's got a good sector 2. He's in the he's invalidated.
Oh no.
Oh, and that's a racing point that was in the wall ahead of him. And I have to wonder if maybe Rahal saw Dino get to the wall on the inside, and he's gone around. Rahal spun it right there.
Oh, it's all gone bad for him. Oh, I think that is not looking good. I'm looking at Whippy right now. As you see, started his fine lap.
Jono is coming through the last few corners right now. He will be the last driver to set a lap time.
Whippy's a quarter of a second up on his time in the first sector. He's making up time, so he could get a front row start here. It depends on Jono's lap time.
Yono is good enough for fourth, 120.937, and there is enough time for him to set another flying lap.
Oh, Whippy is gaining that lap time.
Invalidated!
Oh, they're all crumbling.
Ray Hall retires from the session.
Retrix is invalidated his lap as well, but the thing is, does Whippy have enough fuel in the car to go for another run? Does he have enough time to do it? It's gonna be.
Tom gets across the line,
close.
just enough time to set another flyer. Here comes Whippy. He will make it across the line with enough time to go for one more shot. But for everybody else, it's not happening. Time's up. Over. Plow.
And this is gonna get interesting as well. Like everyone's gonna be getting their flying laps in. Jono's up a bit,
But
and he's
Jono's
invalidated
invalidated
again. Like they're all invalidating their lap times at that corner as well. Gusty's in the pits. That's him done. Dino goes second, 1 minute 20.503. So he's come out of nowhere at the end of Q3 and gone second. So it could be a front row start for him. Gusty's gonna be starting from 9th. But it's all about pole.
Oh, and Retro's gone around. Retro's invalidated. Nearly spun the car out in sector 2. Whippy is up by 17 hundredths right now.
It's Books has invalidated his lap. Obviously, Tom is on his lap. He's the only one that's valid. Got a valid lap.
The fuel light is flashing on Whippy's car.
Is he gonna have enough though to get to the line? Tom, what fourth? 1 minute 20.728, 727 in fact. Whippy coming through the final corner now to the line. What is he gonna be? 1 minute 20.606. It's gonna be fourth. So Asda on pole from Dino, Ray Hall, Whippy in fourth, Tom fifth, Jono sixth, Books 7th, Retrix 8th, Gusty 9th, and Boofy 10th, who never got going after an accident. That gamble did pay off though for Asda, retiring with having no soft tyres left, and he's got the pole.
That was extremely nail-biting, I think, for all of your championship contenders, and even the drivers who weren't fighting directly for a championship. Ray Hall, both of the tracing points, there was at least 6 different drivers who all could have gotten the pole. But in the end, it's your second in points driver, Azda, who's going to take the points for pole position. He will start at the front with Dino sharing the front row with him. Ray Hall will begin in the 3rd position, while Whippy will start 4th. Tom will start 5th. Yono 6th, Book 7th, Retrorixie 8th, Gusty 9th, and Boothy 10th. And for the championship standings, this means everything because in the Ferrari camp, they've got their number 1 driver at the front. Whippy, your points leader, is back there in 4th, and the 2 McLarens are 6th or worse. So this could be a great turnaround moment for your second in points driver.
Books is in like a McLaren sandwich for the race, so that's not going to be looking good. But yeah, we're going to be, I think, so we'll now have that. We'll be now going into the race very shortly. And we'll be going at 1 minute past 6. Well, the 1 minute past 6 will be the minute silence, and then we go at 6:02. So.
Alright, so real quick, I want to go ahead and invite our current pole setter, XRL Ozda, into the booth. Ozda, go ahead, include your audio. You did it! You've got pole. Now you're going to go into the race itself. Do you think you can capitalize on this?
I really hope so. That Q3 was so intense because I honestly thought Whippy was gonna snatch it off me, but then he invalidated it, the chicane. So then I was like, oh yes. And then obviously Rahul or Rahul, however you want to say him, the Alfa Romeo, he was looking like a really good threat as well. And then obviously Dino came in with like really good time. Obviously split, obviously put him on the row with me. But honestly, that was so intense, and I really hope I can capitalize on it. I just got to put my head down now, work on strategy, and hopefully it goes to plan, and hopefully no DNS.
All right, real quick question. When it comes to tire compounds, about how long can we expect all three tires to last in a stint?
Well, the oh, Jesus. Um, if you get lap one damage, you're gonna probably have to go to hards to the end. Hards don't feel too bad around here for me personally. So if I do get lap one damage, then I'll definitely go to hards and then go to softs on the end. Um, uh, softs do about 13-ish laps, and then you've got a pit. If you do go to lap 13, you'll be pitting for mediums, and then you'll be going on the mediums to the end. But if you want to try the hards out, you'll go on the softs till lap 9, and then you'll be in the hards till the end. So people will be on the mediums, because obviously the hard is a slower tyre compound. But yeah, I think the mediums at the end, if you're going to go into mediums, are going to be very, very, very worn out. If there isn't a safety car or, something like that. So, yeah.
All right, thanks, Ozda. Good job on the pole, and stay safe in the race.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, so a very chaotic and interesting qualifying session with crashes, blowovers, a nutty Q3, nutty Q2. All the qualifying sessions were crazy. I think that was probably one of the more esoteric qualifying sessions I've ever had the pleasure of watching in XRL.
Yeah, I think it was definitely. And we'll be having our wait. So just 2 minutes till we are gonna have our 3 minutes till we ready up and get going. And we'll have our 1 minute silence now. And we are now underway for the Australian Grand Prix. Oh, let's go.
Can you put some focus on the back of the field while I focus on the front for the start?
Yep, let's go for it. Right, we'll go.
4, 5. And it's lights out, and away we go here at Albert Park, and right off the bat, Dino and Ozda have a drag race, but it's Rahal who's coming out of nowhere from the back row and will take the top spot at the front.
Smish has not got off, just stuck off the line. Gusty's been
Neck
involved
and
in
neck,
an
and Ozda's
incident.
gotten back in front.
Gusty's been involved with an incident. Also, Boofy and Mufasa have been called. Smish has been disqualified for partner in dangerous location because he's not been moved off the line. Also,
Full
Toy
course
Boy,
safety car.
Mr. Anderson, and Gusty have got 5-second time penalties. Weirdly, Mufasa and Tisani have gone onto a hard compound at the start, so they're going for a long distance strategy. A bit confusing there for Smish, who crashed out in Q1. He didn't move off the line, so not really good for him there.
Rough time for the Red Bulls all week long thus far. We're going to try real quickly and see what happened to Smitch at the start of his own words. The good news is the field didn't get too terribly spread out, so we should be able to get back under racing real quickly here.
Yep. I think he might have not been like there. He might have not been at his console. Might not have been in the room when it started. So I think not happy for it. Not good for him because he never got a vote. I think he never moved off the start. Oh, I think Boofy and Mufasa have just traded places.
Mufasa has
wing damage as well.
Mufasa has wing damage, so we know he will be pitting for sure. Mr. Anderson's coming into the pits. Books is coming into the pits as
Boofy
well.
and Mufasa. Mufasa's definitely. Boofy is also in, I think. So
Dusty is in.
Boofy lost 8 places off the start. Well, 7 that. Yeah, 8 on the start. Gusty also lost 8. 9 actually. Alarm Drake and Fritz climbed 7. Frida's up 8 places, so Frida's had a decent getaway in the race. At the start, so you could be looking for a good result here.
Tasani had a really... Oh, and Fritz and Unarmed Drake have apparently have an incident between the two of them, but I don't know if I believe that because I don't see damage on any of their cars. I think the game mislabeled that. I do want to say real quickly though, Tasani, good job on Tasani's part. He was able to avoid the early chaos. He is already up to 13th on his hard tire compounds. And as the race goes on, assuming he can keep the car clean, the race will come to him. This lap.
Yeah, we should. Well, hopefully it depends if Mufasa and Boofy can get themselves up the field.
I don't see any reason why they couldn't. Well, no, actually they might not. They are a little bit farther back than expected. And Gusty has spun around. Gusty, while trying to catch up to the field, has spun himself around.
Ooh.
He's facing the right way again. So yeah, we will have to go another lap as Gusty has spun himself around there in Sector 3.
Not got any damage, so that's good. Boofy on the hards, Mufasa's went onto the mediums as well. So, long game strategies are happening. Mr. Anderson's on the soft, so he's probably gonna try and make up those places quite quickly with drivers like on mediums and hards.
He'll also be able to make those softs last a little bit longer because he put them on late and then he has to run basically 2 laps under yellow with them. So Mr. Anderson might be able to jump onto the mediums and make the mediums last a little bit longer. So I'm not saying that, oh god, Mr. Anderson has the perfect strategy, he's going to win the race, but I am saying that he's trying to set himself up to make up a lot of positions early on and then go defensive mode later in the event.
As the managing to keep his position off the start, which is good.
Yeah, but it was really difficult. We saw right off the start, Dino got a huge run, made it side by side with Ozda going through the first two corners. Then Dino backed off. Rahal came out of nowhere, and he dragged race with Ozda down the front straight before Ozda barely got the top spot back in turn 3 right before a safety car came out. It was a very, very chaotic start in the front, to say the least, but everyone kept their wings together and their heads cool.
I think we could be going this. Yeah, we're definitely going to be going in this lap. Interesting to see how the Mercedes are going to be doing with a restart. Fritz has a 5-second time penalty for a collision. They had, I think, the unarmed Drake it was. Yep, safety cars in this lap.
As a wise man who killed a bunch of younglings once said, this is where the fun begins. Everyone's like really stacked up and backed up right now in the field. This does not look
This
safe
cannot
to say
end
the
well.
least.
As is not really, as is really backed them up. This might cause a bunch of incidents here. If he's not careful.
I'm following Tassani right now as we're coming to the green flag, but yeah, he really bunched the entire field up very aggressively. But we are green now, and already there's some incidents going on ahead. Not accidents, but incidents. Unarmed Drake and JV are having a fight. Whippy and Yono are in a scrap for position as well near the front.
Oh, Mr. Anderson had a look at Books and had to back off of that move. Try to make, especially on the restart, yellow flag. Boofy's gone. Boofy has gone, and then Mr. Anderson's just made a move past Books for 15th. I think Boofy's just lost the back end heading out of turn 1, and has just gone spearing into the wall. I think that's what happened. I wasn't on board with him when it happened.
There's damage on Dave Ewart's car. He has lost part of the front lane, as has Unarmed Drake.
Ooh. Oh, and Mr. Anderson has made a move. He's making a move on Turbo, and is he going to get it? Yes, he is. He's forced the Turbo and onto the grass, and I think Brooks has taken advantage of that and got up to P15, and also Gusty's gonna. Also, Gusty's making a move as well.
Yeah, the field split into two very distinct packs at this point. Oh, and Dave Ewar and Tassani have both lost position. Mr. Anderson, now Mr. Anderson is going side by side with Unarmed Drake, while Dave Ewar is on side with Tassani. A little bit of contact. Mr. Anderson gets knocked sideways by Unarmed Drake, but he's not giving up. The Ferrari's steaming back now. Dave Ewar has not right to the back of them right now, and he has to hold off the Williams and Books behind him.
Dave Ewart's going to go in the pits now. Make his pit stop.
And there's Mr. Anderson. He's got around Unarmed Drake. He is now up into the 11th position, and it is clean track ahead of him.
Yeah. Basically, first and 10 for in their own battle, and then the rest is just having their own battles. The moment, Books with the braking, so Drake's just gone wide on the exit. Yeah, Mr. Anderson is just pulling away right now, leaving Unarmed Drake to be the leader of this, to be the main person behind this train, and he's got front wing damage as well, so I think that is not going to benefit him. And Books has just gone round the outside of Unarmed Drake and got up to P12. Brilliant move from Books, so that was a brilliant move.
And now Unarmed Drake is going to have to hold off Turbo. Turbo did not get a great start, was kind of bullied around and fell back. He is going to be charging like mad up the field, and with that wing damage, that's not good for Unarmed Drake.
He's going to lose a few more positions now. Only one. Oh. He surely should be thinking about making a pit stop right now.
He nearly spins it around. He can't get in. The Williams nearly blocked him in. Mufasa was nice enough to back out to enable Unarmed Drake to come into the pits, but that was a little bit closer than anticipated.
Look. Yeah, That was very tight. Could have been a lot worse, I think. Could have been a lot worse. Books is just starting to pull away from Turbo on the hard, so he's finding some pace. Mr. Anderson was quite a bit off of Fritz at the moment.
Meanwhile, Battle for a Championship is very much alive. 4th and 5th, two title contenders are in a little spat between themselves. And Whippy at the same time is trying to close in on Dino. He wants to use that tracing point as a pick to keep the McLaren behind him.
Yep. Oh, Fritz using the slipstream. Oh, him and Clyde were having a nice little battle. Right here. At the moment.
Move that Mercedes up to 9th position, so Fritz is recovering from that huge blowover accident he had in Q2. He is back in the points-paying positions now.
Mr. Anderson, he's catching up. He's catching up to the pack, so he's slowly but surely.
And Mr. Anderson has the advantage of being on clean tires, and it's still 4.5 seconds of... he has soft clean tires and 4.5 seconds worth of clean air ahead, so he can just be putting down qualifying-like laps right now, like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Retro has basically been trapped behind Tone. He is faster than the tracing point, but is not able to get a good run in any passing zones thus far. He should, if he stays close enough, he should have DRS on the straights, but he had that last time and just wasn't close enough to make it work for a dive bomb at the end. So it's just not working out super well for Retro. Here he is. He's within 2/10, but he backs out once more because he cannot seem to get a good enough run to go overtake, and he goes around and he hits the inside wall. And one of your title contenders, Retro Rexy, has now had an accident there in Sector 3.
Oh, watch it out, Mr. Anderson. He's gonna, he could have to make a move, but then Books has to take avoiding action. And the braking, Turbo and Gusty have had the battle. Gusty's been forced off wide. Fastest gone and take Gusty for P14. So those three are having a very nice battle.
The pits to change tires.
Retro's going to come into the pits as well to repair that front wing. Books is up to P10. Mr. Anderson's up to P9, and he's catching Collie with in a rapid pace with those softs.
And Whippy has caught Dino for 3rd.
Oh, Tom and Turbo side by side on turn 1, and he's heading out the pit lane, and he's under quite a much pressure now. Because he's gonna have a move on the inside, but a bit tight. But Tom gets it on. He's got the speed on the exit, gets up to P11, and is now
Side by
going to
side
start
for
to
3rd.
pull
Whippy
away.
has going to go the long way around the racing point. But Dino cuts the circuit just a bit, and he will maintain the position. Whippy has to back out, and there we go! A massive accident! Dino's had an accident with Yono, and both of them have significant damage there.
Dino's
Dino
got a fight
got sideways.
As well.
That should not be a penalty for Yono or Dino. Dino lost control on his own, and Yono had absolutely nowhere to go. We were riding on board with the McLaren. There is nothing he could have done to avoid the racing point. And now that's 2 championship containers involved in accidents today.
And that's both McLarens as well, so it's not looking good. And meanwhile, Asda, 5-second gap to Rahal, and he's in the pits, Rahal. Ryder's got a 3-second time penalty under VSC. And we're back again.
DRS has been enabled, and we're back to green now. Collie and Fritz in a little bit of a battle, and Collie will easily take over the 3rd position. So Ozza has now basically given himself a 15-second lead over 2nd.
I think Rahal got a 3-second time penalty for track limits. So that's not going to look good for him. Oh. Dino is out in 12th, Jono is out in 13th. So safety car now it will really help Jono and Dino probably and Retrix to get back in the fight. Richard up to 16th after Gussie's made his pit stop and onto the soft compound tyres in P17.
Other thing to consider is that Whippy went ahead and made his pit stop, threw on some hard tire compounds. He has clean track ahead of him, and if it stays that way, where he just has clean track ahead, he can probably make those hards last to the end of the race.
Yep. Oh, Tisani and Dave Ewart are having a nice battle, and Tisani gets up to P14 on the softs, but Dave Ewart is going to try and fight back. But he's not got the power of the car behind him. Tisani locked up. And also they've got to be wary that Retro Rixie is just catching up to the both of them. As is staying out at the moment. Your leader is staying out at the moment. Meanwhile,
Oz's helped because there's been a virtual safety car and an early yellow flag, so those softs will go a little bit longer, and Ozda might be able to push the tires to about lap 13 or so, then jump on the mediums to the end of the race.
Yeah. And Tisani's starting to pull away from Dave Ewart with the soft tyres that Tisani's got. But a 4 laps old though, but it doesn't matter. Tisani will have that pace. Fritz, I think Fritz now is
cut ahead of Turbo at the end of turn 3, so now Turbo is back into the points main position, but has lost his spot to the Williams and Mufasa, who's now beginning to gap the Red Bull.
Fritz made his pit stop and now he's come out in 13th on the hards. Quite a bit ahead of Tisani, which is what he'd be fine for. He's got a little bit of a gap to Corridor that's ahead of him.
Oh, here's another battle. This will be for the second position. Fratters is second. Mr. Anderson has worked his way back into third on those softs. And Mr. Anderson will have DRS on the front stretch here. Ooh, Rahal nearly spins the car around coming out of the final corner.
Ooh.
Mr. Anderson thought better of it. It's going to wait until the next straightaway to try and use DRS. He's still within about 3/10. Now he's closing it in rapidly. He looks to the inside, outside, and he's going to go side by side. Fratters chops down on him and will hold on to the top spot for now. And Retro, time penalty for track violations.
Retrix, he's on the back of Dave Ewart in the DRS. So, yeah, I mean, not a good day for McLaren right, at the moment, getting caught up in incidents with the racing points.
Oh, Mr. Anderson just muscled his way by Fratters, smacked tire to tire, and Fratters has fallen behind Mr. Anderson now.
Oh, Retrix, tight on the move. Yeah, on Dave Ewart, but Dave is going to keep that. But Ewart's made a mistake. Retrixie will go round the outside of the next corner and easily gets past him. Dave Ewart had such a bad exit at that corner that Gusty, he's just managed to get by him, and he's got a 3-second time penalty for track violations after that move.
Whippy has found himself up into the 6th position right now. He's trapped behind Books, who is being simultaneously held up by Fratters. Fratters has just completely lost pace that prior lap. He's going to maybe get double DRS overtaked here on the straight.
A battle for 13th is happening right now between Tisani and Fritz at the moment. Tisani locks up in the penultimate corner, heading into the final corner now. He will have that DRS, and Fritz is trying to get out of the slipstream. Tisani is gaining, but I don't think it is enough to make the pass official. But oh wait, Fritz is back. Fritz backed out of it. He backed out of it, fought better with it, and Tisani's ahead of him. He gets the fastest lap, 1:24. Because he's on, and now he's on the back of Retro Rixie for P15. So at the back of the field, it's all kicking off right now with hot people trading places.
Meanwhile, while you were focusing on that, we were focusing on the battles going on from 3rd all the way to 6th. Oh, and Fratters just got into the wall, and here comes Whippy. Whippy's gonna send it up on the inside, and now Whippy goes around and just barely saves him. He's gonna fall all the way back to 6th now. This is going crazy. Fratters is way slower than these three drivers, but every time one of them gets by Fratters, they make a mistake. Fratters is giving up. He's coming into the pits now.
All battle. Metrics, I think Gusty's still, well, not got past him, and Metrixy. Dave Ewart is not far off the battle as well, so he can probably pick up the pieces on this battle if they continue. If Gusty's not making a move. Hisani won with 24.637 is the fastest lap of the race for the Haas team, so.
While we were focusing on all that, I just missed it. Our race leader opened up enough of a gap that he was able to jump into the pits, put on the mediums, and he held the lead the entire time.
Gone.
And
it's Red Bull. It's Turbo. He's
Turbo.
gone. No flags. No flags.
There is wing damage on the front wing of Turbo right now. So it's... oh, no, maybe it's not. It looked like there was wing damage. I guess it was wrong. Meanwhile, Whippy, your points leader, is driving his heart out, being very aggressive, trying to run down Tome and Books ahead of him. Whippy, though, has the youngest, freshest tires of them all, but they're the hard tires. He knows this battle will come into his favor, but right now he needs to make something happen so he can close in on Ozda, because Ozda is on even fresher tires and on faster tires on top of that.
But Trixie's starting to pull away though from Gusty, and he's gained on Fritz as well, so this is going to be battle.
Fratters is closing in on Tassani. He's got DRS on him on the straight, but it looks like the Haas is set up well enough. He might be able to defend at the end of the straight. Yes, he will be able to defend at the end of the straight. Now, there is another straight right afterwards for Fratters to have a chance, but Tassani better entrance onto the straightaway, so Fratters, despite having DRS, actually loses time to the Haas. Meanwhile, for the battle for 7th and 8th, that is Yono and Dino right now. Yono, third in points, trying to make up ground, because right now it's looking good for his prospects in the title fight.
Trixie's got another 3-second time penalty. We'll
try. He can't afford to keep doing that. He's already not in the points-paying positions, and if he's earning penalties at this point, it's going to make it less and less likely he's going to walk out of here with points at all.
Yeah, he's having to defend from Gusty. We'll try to gain time on Fritz. It's just not going well. With Mercedes, we're fighting in the midfield, like in the points. Now they're like 13th and 12th right now.
Podium battle once again. Tome, Books, neck and neck down the straightaway. Whippy, you better be careful through here into the braking zone. And he is careful. He backs out of it. Oh, he just turned him! He just turned Books! Books just got dumped by Whippy going to turn 5!
Safety car has been deployed. And I think that might be good for Ritzy and Jono, like, just to try and catch up to the field. But that is not looking good for Whippy, because that could probably be something for the incident report, and it might not be looking good for him.
And Mr. Anderson hit Books' machine while Books was struck there, and now Mr. Anderson has significant front wing damage.
Car has been removed. Online Drakes and Turbo are going into the pits. Online Drakes on the mediums and got a change. Or Turbo's also going into mediums. It's good opportunity for them to get fresh tires so they can probably go to the end.
A full course safety car, so the entire field will bunch up, but for now that's not too bad of a thing for your race leader Ozda, because he's still on relatively fresh mediums while Rahal is on slightly more worn hards. But Ozda and Rahal are both coming in pits. In fact, everyone at the front's coming in pits. Ozda is putting on another set of mediums apparently. Rahal is putting on mediums as well. And we'll end up behind Ozda. Tome is pitting, Whippy is pitting. I think everybody is going to pit in this session.
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity for them to pit. for the drivers to pit. Jono's in the pits. I think Retroixie might be fine for the double stack. But actually, no, he's just stayed out. I think he's just... But he might pit next lap, though. I don't know. I think he's just playing it safe for the
Retro
double.
is on the hard tire compound, so those tires will last to the end, and this moves Retro back into the points-paying positions.
He will be down on pace. He'll be down on pace compared for the top 6 right now. Well,
yeah,
actually,
it's
the
a
rest of
risky move. It's a risky move, but there was no other way he was going to get back into the points-paying position if he didn't do something like that, though.
Yeah.
But it looks like him and Fratters are the only 2 drivers who elected not to stop during this full course safety car. We're going to try and get Books in here and see what he has to say about the incident from his perspective.
Definitely, because it was very weird. It's a very weird indeed, and I think it'll be definitely investigated after the race, and here he is now.
All right, here in the party we have Books. Books, go ahead, include your audio. What happened there that brought out the safety car and ended your day?
Hey guys.
Books. Yeah. What happened there?
Oh yeah, I was battling with who was it? Whippy and Tome. They had gotten to Whippy had actually passed me already. He was on the fresher tires. And then I think Tome and Whippy got into a little incident, and I guess Tome handed the position back, but I went through because I didn't know what was going on. But I was holding them off pretty good. Tome got past me. I got a little bit of oversteer. And Whippy was so close behind me that once I got a little oversteer, it looked like he just tapped me into the back. I don't think it was anything he could have really did because he was just so close to me trying to get past on the quicker tire. And then once he tapped me, he spun me into the wall and yeah, race over there.
Alright, absolute shame. We were looking to get some good points here today. But just want to verify, you do not think that it was intentional. You think it was just a complete racing incident?
I'm not sure a racing incident, you know, following into that turn so closely like that, you know, he really had no choice but to hit me. You know, so it was a close battle. I'll see what the stewards say about it, but not pissed at Whippy or anything.
Alright. Well, there's the word from Books. Again, shame to see that what was looking to be a good day ended so prematurely here for you.
Yeah, let's hope Mufasa can salvage some points for the Williams.
Yeah, well, here's hoping. While we were talking, apparently there's a penalty handed out for Fratters for a collision with Mufasa, although a penalty wasn't given to Mufasa. I didn't see anything happen between the 2 of them. Not saying it didn't happen, I didn't see anything. I'm constantly second-guessing, like, incidents that are happening now on the circuit. And there's the word safety car is going to be coming in this lap. Now here's the question, will Ozda back up the field real aggressively again like he did last time?
Well, yeah. Mufasa doesn't have any front wing damage at all, so that's him. He's all fine. And now, he looks like he's doing it again. So this is a risky move as well. It's a very risky move, especially with the field so tight. Incidents will get caused in this process. It looks like he's going to be doing it a bit late. Maybe a bit of a late pull.
Ooh, Ray Hall got a good run coming onto the main straightaway, though, as we're coming to the green flag. So it looks like it may have backfired on Ozzy just a little bit. Ray Hall is coming to a dive on the outside, but can't make it safe through there. He's still in the fight, though.
Jono's made a move on to Sani to get up to 10th, right on the restart, so very good move there from Jono. Dave E. Watt, 3-second time penalty for track
Ray Hall
violations.
just took the lead.
Looks like the second safety car restart for ours that didn't really go as planned as he would have wanted.
Rahal has a time penalty and Ozda does not.
Yeah, he just needs to keep it cool right now, and then he'll be fine. Also, Smith is probably finally back after what he was doing, so... He got disqualified on that one, that was a bit of a weird one. Yo, flag,
Oh, and
Davey
Dave
was
has just
on.
been eliminated.
He crashed out, again, virtual safety car this time.
Virtual safety car.
Oh, the fastest up to P5, so he's managed to get past Frados. So that looks something. John was in P10. Mr. Anderson's in 13th. He's hoping he can get some points in on board.
We should be going green very shortly here. The wrecked car of Davey Bart's and Luke. And Yono just got a drive-through penalty.
Oh no.
The championship points lead is coming very slowly back into Whippy's hands. He is putting pressure on Tome, while Ozda seems to be losing a little bit of touch with Rahal. If Whippy can finish right behind Ozda, he will maintain the points lead leaving here today. This is really interesting back here.
Oh.
Dino. Oh, and Yono has gone around. Yono has had an accident.
No.
Before he even got to serve his drive-through, Yono has an accident, and he will fall to the back of the field.
You'll be a long way. You'll be a long way from the nearest car. So that's not good. It's not good for Jono. 9 laps to go. It'll be an interesting end to the race. Dino and Retrix are having a nice battle.
And Ozda's just has gotten the time penalty, so Ozda and Rahal are back to being even when it comes to time penalties. Ozda needs to overtake Rahal on track now.
Jono's just coming in to serve his drive-through. Right now. Not looking
Dino
good for
and
the
Retro
title
Rixie are in
contender.
a fight for the 7th and 8th positions right now. For now, it looks like Dino's gonna hold ahead of Retro. Oh, and Fritz has just been involved in an incident.
Ooh, no, oh, no, oh, he's still got, he's kept it, he's keeping it. Has he got any how significant is he got damage? He's got a bit, he's significantly got damage.
Whippy continues to put pressure on Tome, and Ozda continues to put pressure on Rahal. And while all that is happening, Mufasa is closing in to the battles for the lead.
I held fastest lap, so Hauser's not doing much. He can't really do much at the moment.
It looks like Rahal's car might be a little bit better kitted out for the straight lines. So while Ozda is stronger around the entirety of the circuit, because he is trapped behind the Alfa Romeo, it's compromising the Ferrari's ability to make the corners as good as he was earlier. And while he can catch up to him on the straights, even with DRS, he's just not able to match. Well, Rahal made a mistake! Rahal just made a mistake, and that gave the lead back to Ozda.
Fritz has gone into the pits. I think he's just to repair the wing damage that he sustained that get Jono's out into P15, so it'll be fine with that. Meanwhile, Retrixie is on the back of Frado's. Boy went wide to Tisani, so Tisani is going to make a move on him. That was quite a bit of a feisty move from Tisani, but he's got up to P9. Retrixie will be trying to make. He's got the DRS on Frado's. And as Mr. Anderson's got a 3-second time penalty for track violations as well.
Look at this pile of cars from about Mr. Anderson all the way up to Fratters. That's about a 5-car train going on right now. Absolute crazy. It's a DRS nightmare for all of these drivers.
Indeed.
Here comes Whippy on the inside of Tome, neck and neck, and Whippy is going to get back onto the podium positions.
But Trixie's got another 3-second time penalty, so he's now up to 9 seconds worth of penalty, so it's not looking good, especially with this train of cars happening right now to Mr. Anderson, so he could be out of the points. Tisani has 3 penalties, Kloiber has 3 seconds, and Mr. Anderson has 3 seconds, so it could be okay. Might not be looking good.
Retro's right there behind Fratters. He's trying to make up ground, but right now with all those time penalties against him, I don't see any way that Retro will still walk out here with points. And he's made a mistake, and now he falls to 10th.
He made a big mistake, and he's Kloiber's got past him, and I think Mr. Anderson got past him as well. So I don't know what the mistake was there. I think he was trying to get past Fratters, but it didn't work out good for that.
Mr. Anderson just trying to play it a little bit calm and a little bit safe right now. He doesn't want to do anything silly to get by Retro. He knows that Retro has more time penalties against him.
Oh, Collie had a bad line into the final corner, but obviously DRS is not going to be playing effective in this one, as Tisani goes down the inside of Fratters into turn 1, but Fratters is going to keep it on the outside, but he has to concede the place. He's now into P8. Oh, Retrix is going to go for a dive bomb, but it doesn't go out. It was very late on the brakes, but then Mr. Anderson on the inside of in the next corner is going to try and forces Retrix a little bit wide, side by side again, and Mr. Anderson's actually going to make the place up into P10.
Mr. Anderson is now into the points paying position right now.
Fratters is on 11 seconds worth of penalty, so he might not be even in the points as well. So Retrix could be in the points. We don't know. It's not a good ride. It's not a good day for the McLaren team right now. Not getting as many points as they would like, especially with them in the constructors' battle.
Yeah, as opposed, although only one Renault is currently in the points paying position, it is Whippy who's currently staying in 3rd. So that says a lot about how the constructors' title might get shaken up, let alone the driver's title.
Yeah, indeed. I'm agreeing with you on this.
Collie very aggressive on the Mercedes of Fratters right now as they come onto the straight. Mr. Anderson is just sitting there intent, being very calm, being very patient. He wants the drivers ahead to make mistakes so he can capitalize. He doesn't seem to be doing too aggressive right now. Collie Boy! Oh,
he's
Fratters
forced
just went off!
That might be
Fratters falls out of the top 10.
That could be getting investigated after the race. I don't think Collie Boy had the wheel. I don't think he could have waited to make the second DRS straight to make the attempt. But Fratters has dropped down to P11. But Trixie back is in P10. Mr. Anderson will now try and fight with Collie Boy for P8.
It's now turned into a 3-way fight for the last step on the podium between Whippy, Tome, and Mufasta.
Williams are going to get some decent points, which is good for them. They need it. AlphaTauri in P8, running in P8 with Collie Boy. But Collie Boy is going to have to defend from Mr. Anderson, Retro, and Fratters. So it's a 4-way fight right now for P8 now. It's going to be quite tight with the penalties that they've got. Also, Gusty and Onan Drake are having a battle for Gusty's behind Onan Drake for P12. That's a battle that we're seeing.
Retro's DRS on Mr. Anderson is actually a little bit faster in a straight line. He might try to dive. Going into turn 1. There it is.
It was the yellow flag. I think Tisani might have made a mistake, but this is tight. Retrix got it, but he's locked up. He's gone. He's off, and he's lost significant time. And he's gonna be Gusty who got past on Drake will now be trying to chase him down for the remainder 4 laps of this Grand Prix. He's done 17 laps and he's got another penalty, put them up into 12 seconds worth of penalty, so it's not looking good for Retro.
Jono must have taken damage somewhere because he's jumping into the pit lane right now. So yeah, neither of the McLarens are looking to walk out here with any points whatsoever.
He's gone onto the softs, so he'll be trying to have a crack at the fastest lap of the race.
Real quickly, I just want to say Tassani, absolutely outstanding job. He's hanging out there in 7th. No time penalties against him right now. It's looking like he's going to walk out here with a respectable number of points for the Haas team.
Yeah, I mean, Haas are currently like 3rd in the constructors, I think, on 81 points. So it could be like this is going to be good for them. On Drake is in 13th right now, and he's got 9 seconds worth of penalty. So it's going to be quite tight for like the low end of the points. I think.
Hey, Torpedo, out of curiosity, do you remember when earlier in the day we were talking about Rahal and how he needs to make a start for a championship now if he wants to make himself a title fight?
Yeah.
Well, I think he's doing it right now. He's hanging right onto the back end of Mazda. He's closed back in on the race leader. He's within DRS striking distance in some sections of the circuit. He might try go for a late race overtake on our race leader.
Alright, I think he might be watching the stream then if he's like listening, because he's taking inspiration probably. So I need to do my bit. I need to really make a charge right now, so he's gonna be doing it. So yeah. Mr. Anderson's on the back of Collie meanwhile for P8, so that's still going along. Lap 27, so nearing the end of the Grand Prix.
Also, I just want to say this. I was not going to say anything about it because the gap was about 4 seconds most of the time, but there was a chance that Whippy could have stolen 2nd or even the lead by these. Well, that's changed. Whippy now has a time penalty, and it's likely he will fall to 4th because Tome currently does not have any time penalties against him.
Rahul's on 6 seconds worth of penalties as well, so that is also into account. After the penalty that Asda had, he's had 1 warning since that. So yeah, 2 it needs. So it's just gonna be going down to the final few laps then between these two.
Mr. Anderson also only has 3 seconds worth of penalties, while Collie Boy has 6 seconds. Rahal just got another 3 seconds worth of penalties.
He's gone. Rahal's gone. Right.
Not gone, but there's definitely significant front wing damage on the car. He's going to start plummeting through the order. He's got Whippy right behind him. He's actually holding Whippy up real badly. Whippy's not going to be happy about that. Right, but this is going to be good for Whippy because this means that Whippy will be able to salvage points. He will finish 2nd and might walk out. I think he'll still walk out here with the points lead, or will be very, very close to Asda.
The gap is 5 points heading into this race, with Asda getting the win. I don't know. Fitz is retired. He's lost it. And that is
geez, it's just a little bit off the racing line as well. So Whippy, Mufasa, and Tom are all going to have to be careful. You can see that Mercedes and the bunch of debris all on the track leading up to the incident.
Rahal's in P12 on the soft, so he'll be trying to crack the fastest lap, but that was definitely not what he needed, especially towards the end of the race. So we could be. Okay, Az's got a 7-second gap at the moment, so unless he doesn't make a mistake.
Racing Point cars are 4th and 5th right now, so it's going to be a great day in the Manufacturers Championship for them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good. I think they might leapfrog. Well, they're going to pull away from Red Bull. Indeed, definitely. I think they might go up to 5th, being Alfa Romeo, with obviously after. But with Buffy, DNF, and Rahal getting no points, so I think it's a good day in the office for Racing Point today, and I think that's really good to see for now. Vander's got a number 3 second time penalty for track violations. That's on him on 14, and he's fighting Retro Racer right now. Mufasa's moved up 10 places, by the way, and he's in P3, so it's an unlikely podium, I think, for Mufasa.
The question for Mufasa's podium is what can he do regarding Tome, because Tome has no penalties and Mufasa does. And if Tome can get by Mufasa and stay just close enough to Whippy, he might be able to take second from Whippy as well. Retro has just gotten by Fratters, so Retro is still making things happen late in the event. Fratters has more time penalties than Retro ahead of him, and Gusty is behind as well. So these might end up being serious battles for positions.
Anderson, they're having a nice battle.
Oh, and Colley's gone around and has knocked the front wing off the car. He spins back on the track. That's right off the racing line. You need to be more careful than that. But Colley Boy drops out of the points paying positions. Tome has DRS on the Williams ahead. He has that position of third pretty much locked in, but it needs to see if he can get by Mufasa to challenge Whippy for second potentially.
Rayhol's fighting
I don't think it's going to happen.
We're on the final lap as well. And there it goes. Well, the chicken flag.
Oz's just won the race from the pole.
Rayhol's gone up to P10, passing Gusty. Gusty's got a 3-second time penalty.
Tome leapfrogged Whippy. So Tome leapfrogs all the way up into second by virtue of having no penalties. Dino will come home fifth, so a great day for Tracing Point. Whippy will be third, Mufasa fourth. Here comes Tasani. And he will come across the line sixth.
Brilliant from him. Good result.
Seventh will be Mr. Anderson. This is Retro. He comes across the line eighth, but he's going to lose one position to Rayhol. We know that for certain. But I think Retro will walk out here with points. Retro will walk out here ninth. So he is still keeping his championship hopes alive. They're on life support, but they're alive.
Yep. Collie Boy's good. Collie Boy without a front wing might make it. He's definitely going to be 14th. And finally, Jono will be 15th after quite an eventful race from him. But Racing Point are getting a decent points haul, second and fifth. Really good stuff from them. What a race indeed, as they're getting their second win of the season as well. Mufasa, driver of the day. Probably, he's definitely going to be up there.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Yeah, good decision by the game.
Alright, well anyways, we want to go ahead and talk to our race winner from the pole position, Ozda. That was a good job, but you lost the race lead on that second restart. How did you lose it and how did you get it back?
Well, obviously, I don't even know, to be fair. Rayhill put a very good fight up. He was very quick. I was, pushing to my limit to, get in front of him, and I got him through the corners, and obviously he had that little moment, and that's where I capitalized on it. Got past him and just started to push and try and get that gap. And he was actually keeping it, which is actually really impressive. So well done to him. But and then obviously he had that really bad spin and smacked the wall and stuff. So that was unfortunate. But that gave me a massive gap, obviously, to Whippy. And so I'm very happy with this race win. And hopefully more to come.
Well, Ozda, we are anticipating that you will take the points lead after this race. Also, your Whippy finishes third. And the two McLaren championship contenders did not have a good day whatsoever. Retroxley only got 9th, and Yono got no points whatsoever. So this was a good points haul day for you. Good job on that.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Well, I'm just going to say right now, what a race. That was quite a race, and I think that was a lot better than the realistic racing length event yesterday, because there was actually enough cars to stay on track all day long to put in a lot of interesting fights all day today.
Yeah, indeed. And the qualifying as well, it was so chaotic, even in Q1. It was just so brilliant, because it was you had Retro Rixie, leaving it to the last minute. You had Fritz's accident in Q2. Everything was just happening in the qualifying, and the race just transparent that as well.
Alright, well, gonna start wrapping up our broadcast, unless you have anything else you want to say before
No.
we wrap up today's broadcast.
No, I think it's all good.
Alright, on the main channel, in about an hour and some change, there will be the X2 race. I haven't checked who will or won't be covering that race. I might end up doing that, or it might be Kinsey Retro or someone else. We don't, at least on my end, don't know 100% who's going to be covering that. But in roughly an hour's time on the main channel, you can catch that for the last bit of XRL action this weekend. Next weekend, we'll be heading down to Singapore. Hopefully, I'll still be there broadcasting that. And I've been broadcasting today's race along with Torpedo. And Torpedo, once again, glad to be here with you, mate.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. It's always a pleasure commentating on X3.
Anyways, once again, thanks to XRL for having us on. And we'll see you in a week's time when we go to Singapore. Until then, farewell.